You're listening to The Moose and the Loose, your 10 minutes action-packed financial podcast with your host, Mike Yahoo. Hey, what's up, Market Moose? Mike from The Moose on the Loose. Happy Monday. Today, we are going to talk about 5 companies that are struggling. So the dividends may be in danger. And I'm not playing the fear mongerer here. I'm not trying to tell you, oh, you should sell, or here's like 2 through 5 companies that are going to cut their dividend in the next 3 months. It is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is those companies are struggling and their dividend is probably not in the best shape ever. So if you have those stocks in your portfolio, what I suggest you to do is just do a complete review, making sure they're still a good fit for your portfolio and making sure that your investment thesis is still strong and the numbers that you follow on your side are still valid. So I'm not telling you what to do with your stocks. I'm just highlighting 5 companies paying great dividends, but I don't know. I see that there are a few things not going that right, and we're going to talk about those. So first one on the list, KP.TO, KPT.TO, great yield, 7.85. So a lot of people will say, wow, that's a great yield. I kind of like that. And KP.TO is known to operate under Kruger, so consumer papers. We're talking about like common names: Cashmere, Scotties, White Swan. So paper tissues, very popular. A lot of people know them. We all use that. So what's not to like, right? Well, here's the thing. If you look at the numbers, the narrative starts to fade out a little bit. So we have no dividend growth for the past 10 years. So yes, the yield is great, but it's been 10 years that your dividend payment is being slowly but surely being eaten up by inflation. So what you receive today is exactly the same thing of what you received 10 years ago, but I bet your budget, like your grocery budget, is a bit different. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Payout ratio, 221% right now. The company is currently burning cash, so they show negative free cash flow. And one of the biggest problem with KP.TO, in my opinion, is their business model depends on commodity price, of course, because it's all about consumer papers. And the other thing is their products are viewed as a commodity. So on the one side, they do not have full control of like the raw material cost, but on the other side, I mean, what's the difference between White Swan and a Kleenex? I don't know. Like that's just I need I need a paper tissue. Just send me one. I'll probably buy the cheapest one because I don't care that much, unless like I'm highly irritated and then I'm gonna use the puffs one with some lotion, so it's gonna feel good. But that's going to be like $3 a year or something, right? So the most of the time I just want to go for like the cheap version, just to do what it has to do, and there you go. The second thing I want to highlight here also, it's a very small market cap at 91 million. So be very careful about those type of businesses. Moving on to number 2 on my list. They're in no particular order. I just have like 5 stocks on my list though. Still in the same industry. Cascade, Canadian company, Quebec company, so CAS.TO, 5.22% yield, so another high yielder, very, very generous. Operates into packaging paper products and tissue papers. So we have a similar type of business model in KP.TO. The company is a little bit bigger, but we have the same problem with regarding to the fact that the business model highly depends on commodity prices, but what they're selling is seen as a commodity. So the cheaper the better. Product differentiations is very hard at this level. Yes, you get a little bit of like brand recognition, but up to which level, not too sure. When I look at the metrics, well, I see 2 dividend increase over the past 10 years. So again, showing you that this is not a steady dividend grower. 2 in 10 years, that's pretty bad. Actually, I would aim at like 8, 9, or 10. Even 8, I would be disappointed. So at 2, definitely not on my radar for a potential buy. The payout ratio is okay though at 60%. So it's probably not going to cut its dividend anytime soon at this point. But one thing that I don't like much is the fact that there's not much growth happening at Cascades. So there were like a huge spike following COVID. And I mean, still to this day, I found it very interesting to see people like buying toilet paper like there's no tomorrow during COVID. I'd never thought of that. Still don't understand it. But anyways, that was like a funny story. But besides that, it has been not that easy for Cascade to find growth vectors. So going forward, I think it's going to be a bit worrisome as well. Next one on the list, Rogers Sugar, RSI.TO with a yield of 6.35, another generous dividend payer. Well, this one, I mean, providing one of like the most important thing in life, right? Sugar. So sugar and maple syrup. So they're trying to diversify there. So they're doing like pretty much all steps: refining, packaging, marketing, distribution. Something that we find everywhere all the time. That's actually a problem of our society in North America. We definitely eat too much sugar, but it's addictive. It tastes good. And this is what Rugger Sugars is selling. So that's great. But what's not that great is no dividend increase in the past 10 years. Similar to KPT.TO's, your dividend is taking a beating and you don't even realize it because of inflation. Very bad metrics as well, because we have a toxic mix, I would put it that way. So the revenue increases year over year, like great revenue trend on the dividend triangle, which is amazing, but not really any growth for the earnings per share. So it's been a while now. The EPS is about the same, but the revenue keeps increasing, which means that the margins are not great. And actually, cash flow metrics are negative. The company shows a payout ratio of like 82%, which is not that bad, but I don't really like the fact that you have a high yield, no dividend increase, and no ways to increase the earnings per share. I mean, that's kind of like telling you why the dividend is not increasing either, but it's not a good sign. Over the past like 5 years, if you're not able to increase your profit, what's going to happen going forward? I'm a bit worried about that. The last two on my list are two REITs. So we have the first one, Plaza Retail REITs. So PLZ.UN.TO, 7.2% yield. Woohoo, jackpot, right? They operate 211 properties. It's a retail REIT. Great narrative, actually. High occupancy rate. The top tenants are around like drugstores such as like Shoppers Drug Mart. You have like KFC, Dollarama, Canadian Tire, TGX. So very solid tenants, very high occupancy rate. So you kind of like that, but no distribution increase since 2018. That's a flag. The other flag is, as of late, the FFO payout ratio is above 90%. So you should not look at the payout ratio or the cash payout ratio. In this case, it's really the funds from operation ratio, so FFO or AFFO. Above 90%, no dividend increase for the past 7 years. Those two things, I mean, yes, you have great tenants, you have great occupancy rate, but it tells me that you're pretty much maxed out, right? So I'm not too sure where it's going to go. In the meantime, the dividend is not at risk today, but I don't like where it's going. So it needs to show some growth at one point, because if not, that could put your dividend payment in danger. And once again, as is the case with the others, it's been 7 years. You do not have a paycheck increase. So you got a paycheck decrease. Like, that's the only way to see it. It's not stable. It's actually going down by 2-3% every single year. So 7 years down the road, do the calculation, you're not buying the same thing today that you were buying 7 years ago. And it's going to continue that way until they show some growth. The last one, but not the least, Slate Grocery REIT, SGR.UN.TO, 8.25% yield. Another one that is great. Interesting story once again. Canadian-based REIT, but focus on U.S. real estate with grocery-anchored real estate. So, I mean, we all need to eat. Perfect way to have like grocery anchored real estate. It brings traffic. You can have like other tenants in your property on top of that. Sounds like an amazing plan until you look at the numbers once again. So as you can see, there's kind of like a lot of great companies here, like good narrative, but the numbers are not matching the narrative. So no increase since 2020. I mean, you kind of have to get over the COVID excuse now. It's 5 years down the road. The interest rate excuse as well. I don't know. Like now it's getting old a little bit. Before that, it was like very small increase, but at least there were some increase. And the last time that we had in Q1 2025, the AFFO payout ratio was 105%. So the company definitely needs to work on that funds from operation per unit to ensure at least that they maintain the dividend. But I mean, it's been 5 years. Once again, you suffer from a passive dividend cut due to inflation. So 5 companies on that radar that you need to look at: KPT Shoes, Cascade, Rogers Sugar, Plaza Retail REIT, Slate Grocery REIT. I'm going to put them into the link description as well in the show notes, so you don't have to worry about wondering what's the tickers. And as you can see, they show common red flags: a high yield, no dividend increase as of late, and a high payout ratio. Many of those, or other bad financial metrics. If you look at the metrics, they will tell you a stronger story than the payout ratios, than the dividend, than the rest of the narratives, right? Super important to focus on those. So, right, Moose, if you want to find great companies instead, go for the Rockstar list. It's a list of curated stocks that shows a positive dividend triangle with dividend increases. So you can download it for free at moosemarkets.com/rockstars. So that's moosemarkets.com/rockstars. All right, Moose, that's enough for today. We're going to talk again on Wednesday. And until then, don't forget to stay invested.
Hey, welcome to the disclaimer. If you're listening to The Moose on the Loose, you cannot really expect me to give you buy or sell recommendation or financial advice, right? You're here for fun, you're here for information and some entertainment. But I am not your financial advisor, I am not your broker, so therefore I'm not liable if you're losing money after listening to the podcast. If you're looking for some advice, go see a professional. If not, you can enjoy the show and do your due diligence after it.